Well, good day, YouTubers, and remember I showed you these two Urusei Yatsura manga books in another video? I actually did. Quite interesting. I'm actually making this video around, let's just say, midnight of Wednesday, of course. Well, guess what? When I ordered this book, well, something very surprising came along the way. Yes, it's the Viz Manga Sampler 2023 book that I've just came across. And it wasn't actually straightforward purchased. It was actually given as a freebie. So basically, it's a manga book with various different manga franchises just being built in one. So let's take a look at the back. So obviously, it is straightforward right to left, as you can definitely tell. It's very much how manga books are being made. So that's straightforward, very, very different compared to like traditional Western comics. And that's straightforward, the original orientation, somehow by the looks of it. And yeah, that's very much properly read, somehow like this. And yeah, it's got the age ratings on the back, of course, as you can definitely tell. The back is literally the front. And there are several different characters, which obviously, as I can definitely tell, I'm not really that much into other anime franchises. Maybe apart from Urusei Yatsura. Probably because I find it more familiar. In fact, I would have actually jumped into like Ramon at one half because I heard there's a reboot, just like the way Urusei Yatsura did. Yeah, anybody knows about this anime franchise? I know there's a lot of people who would hate me on just straightforward rushing through pages and whatnot though. Just seeing the utter beautifully content right over here as you're seeing on my YouTube channel. I'm sure the copyright owners will get very angry if I actually showed you the whole full book about whatever stories they are. And yeah, a lot of these stories tend to be straightforward, well, let's just say almost adult themed, even though they're rated 16 and over. Okay, it's one of these things. It's a great compilation of different manga franchises being around. I don't know whether which it's actually straightforward, becoming very popular mainstream wise in the 2020s. I don't know how the heck did anime became so popular. I know it was when Pokemon was a big thing at its time. Let's just say back in let's just say the late 90s and the early 2000s, and then you also had Astro Boy. That was a very popular anime franchise that straightforward stemmed back across through the 1960s and the late 50s. It was very much, sedate times. Everything was much more soft and fluffy and sort of play-worthy, as I call it though, hey? It was like a very, sort of warm-hearted one, compared to like anime of today, where it's just a lot much more brutal and a bit much more aggressive in terms of its detailing. And I mean, that's, apart from looking very aggressive, they also seem to have a lot of detailing. Let's just say pretty gory as well. In fact, mentally gory. And that just shows you the punch, sorry for the pun, of how manga / anime can just do things so differently compared to what we Westerners often tend to familiarize with. I think as Westerners, we tend to be fairly sensitive of what other countries seem to publish. But nevertheless, we are just straightforward adapting so much, though. That kind of reminds me of Darling in the Franxx. Is it 02? No, that's not. That's a different franchise, actually. Oh, I have to be very careful, otherwise there'll be some stupid, or maybe some silly bunch of viewers who might find it quite interesting, because there might be a lot of hentai. Sorry if I said that word on YouTube, because obviously that might straightforward demonetize my videos on YouTube, along with swearing. Because honestly, if I'm showing pictures which often involve sexual or suggestive content, well then I'll be straightforward exiled from my YouTube community, and then all of a sudden I'll be demonetized, apart from the fact that I love Lum. Lum's like a classic example of an anime character. She may straightforward look inappropriate, but then she's straightforward like, my favourite character. That's what I'm up to though. But honestly, as I said before in a previous video, that kind of reminds me of Demon Slayer, doesn't it? Maybe I'm sort of thinking, after all, Demon Slayer actually sort of gained the interest of anime very fast, and that's what I'm sort of thinking. And overall, As I said earlier, in previous, let's just say, manga book reviews and stuff, just like the Urusei Yatsura ones, they tend to be highly detailed in terms of how they've been constructed. That kind of reminds me of some sort of weird One Piece character. I'm sure black people are going to be very offended by seeing that. Okay, let's not be racist here, otherwise my channel will be once again demonetized. Hated content, straightforward, hateful content, I would hate to, straightforward. What is that? That kind of looks like something out of Chargeman Ken or Speed Racer. That's weird, isn't it? I feel like I'm taking myself back to the 70s. Is that kind of looking like something out of a Marvel or DC comic combined with something a little bit, what the heck is this thing? Is this meant to be anime or manga, or is this what I'm reading? How is this a manga book? Like, this actually looks more like a pure westernized, comic strip. Like, you would see something out of DC or Marvel. What the heck is this? What is that? Is this like a cross between, oh my god. Oh, what the bloody hell am I reading there? There's a lot of, the Cat-Eyed Boy. Oh, I see, that's what it's called. Insomniacs After School. These are some very weird random title names for various manga and anime franchises. It seems like that because of how popular it is, it seems like people are seemingly spawning different types of anime and manga franchises as years just go by. It's just oblivious, somehow. It's just weird, isn't it? And how people just get crazed over a certain type of media they really love. In particular, Japanese animation. They really seem to be highly indicatively amused by the visuals of what people sort of see, compared to what we Westerners sort of see otherwise. Oh my goodness me, that kind of reminds me of the female character from Chainsaw Man. That's quite weird. I mean, seeing them uniformed characters like that kind of reminds me of something of Chainsaw Man. I mean, why the heck am I actually mentioning, like, various popular franchises? Like, I can honestly put Kill la Kill, another popular anime franchise. That was straightforward, filled with lots of bloody blood and gore. Honestly, I think I might have actually have heard of it because of the internet. Everyone's all geared up with the internet. And I think, by what I'm actually analysing here, the internet has straightforward pumped out a lot of anime-related content. Back in the good old days, we used to look at some very strange bits of, well, let's just say, it wasn't hentai. I would probably guess, like, oh, this one looks very kiddie-esque. Don't know about you, but that looks quite a bit simplistic for an anime. It looks like something out of, Doraemon. Or is it like another anime franchise, which I just can't quite recall or remember? Well known, renowned for its simplistic graphics. It is somehow quite weird. This actually kind of feels more like a pure sitcom mashed up with a bit of manga in it, though, which is just very strange and a bit weird. Yeah, I just have to be very careful, though, as I'm just reading there, because some of these stories may contain a lot of very seriously bad jokes. Oh, yes, I love the visuals. Oh, man. I mean, honestly, I'm just trying to say it as some sort of weird metaphor, though, but, I am straightforward reading, but I'm not sure if the copyright owners would get straightforward smitten with such pure hatred of me showing content like this because it's their work and not mine. Wow, can you believe the visuals? They are just so visually interesting. Somehow, by the looks of it, though, as I'm just flicking through pages after pages after pages, you can just see how visualizingly amazing, it's quite cohesive. I'm sort of thinking this is straightforward, like, something that is genuinely cohesive. This is the sort of brain rot we would have actually been more into. Us people who are into anime and manga, this is like your classic sort of brain rot. This is way before when we had, like, Skibidi Toilet, Fortnite, the Gagagadi Gadagadagadagadago sort of chicken nugget thing. Before we had that, everything was all, sedate like that. Oh, a bit of an adult joke. What the hell are you doing? Oh, okay. Thank goodness for that. Thank you very much. Random manga story. Sorry, have I actually offended any anime or slash manga fans, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just looking through pages, so remember, just seeing this of how detailed they are, that is actually quite amazing. I suppose that it is quite somehow fairly interesting to see why I'm reading stories like this, so that you know, things are straightforward, very cohesive, in a manner that is fairly much well presentable onto YouTube. And I might also talk about problems of basically spamming videos on my YouTube channel, because, you know, even though I've been uploading lots and lots of videos on YouTube, I'm straightforward way far too very much so lazy to rename all of my videos on YouTube. And I basically want to tell you the story of why I feel like I'm actually feeling lazy to just rename videos on YouTube for the sake of myself, of just continuing throughout my life as being a YouTube channel type person. I don't know what to really say, but the way I'm just reading, you know, things and whatnot though is just quite stunning. Okay, that's the story done. Yeah, honestly, I've been binging on this book, and I'm actually starting to feel really tired. Oh my crikeys! But hey, let's move on to a flip-flop product that I'm actually going to straightforward do a review on. Okay, the product we're going to be taking a look at is the Flip Flop Origami British Wildlife Collection. We're still in generation 150. I presume it's going to persist towards 2025, which I'm pretty sure is next year. It's called the Mid-Late Season Wetland Habitat 12-pack, and it costs about £31.95. Well, that's straightforward, way beyond too expensive. That is one really ticked off looking swan, a mute swan that is, and there's the back. Look at all these ducks, they look quite goofy. It must be something out of the Migration film that Illumination produced. There's a dragonfly and there's some sort of weird blowfly. Quite weird seeing a few common insects in this video. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. I'm actually quite curious of what lies inside from this packaging. This is quite the Renaissance. Okay, strangely enough, I've got what presumably is supposed to be a blowfly. That there is a dragonfly, but let me just show you the blowfly. How weird am I just reading? I feel like I've got dyslexia. The wings are in good nick. It looks quite nice. The fly itself is a bit dumb in terms of like its design, because obviously, even though it's meant to be a blowfly, it's just that. Okay, so it's not really the best. Maybe the wings should be literally on the top and not on the bottom like that. But the detailing so far is actually not that bad, considering and how it's actually meant to be like, you know, a house blowfly. It's actually quite relatively good. Then we've also got this dragonfly. It's meant to be based on a common data dragonfly. I mean, the way it's been detailed, it's relatively small, but it actually has a lot of attitude and mojo showing all itself. And there's the detailing on the bottom of the abdomen here. And looking at this, it looks very strange. It almost looks like a Pokemon design. Maybe like a bee-type Pokemon or a wasp. But that's actually a dragonfly because, you know, I just called it that way. And we've also got some mallard ducklings in a set there too. This is actually quite a fairly, you know, straightforward, simplistic set. So we've got roughly about 6 of these ducks. Speaking of roughly, they're not actually that painted very, very well at all times, because, you know, you've got to have a mixture of black and yellow caused by charcoal and a bit of watercolor paint just to make them really, really nice. You know what I mean? Just to make them really, really good. And it's all good somehow by the looks of them. They are very beautiful looking birds. Yeah, you know, they're straightforward, very beautiful water birds. And then next up we're going to take a look at is, of course, the mallard ducks. Straightforward, they're very much the same. Obviously, I think the male is a bit brownish in this model here, although it does sort of vary. Some of them can have more of a greyish sort of colour and tone. There's a little bit of a straightforward sort of ticking out green piece here. I've got no idea. Noticing there's the other side of it here too. It's quite a nice model in its kooky ways. Somehow it's not too bad. I think the other side of it is not really painted that correctly in terms of like the shading of blue on the speculum, which is that detailing on the wing. I think right over in that section here. This one here is the female. But unfortunately, she's lacking the eyebrows. No, wait, the eyelashes. Always get myself confused. But luckily enough, both of them have got names. Nice to know that. And then we've also got just a swan. Just a freaking mute swan. Yeah, we've already got that in general. Just a bloody name, just to make things lazy. Maybe the swans can just attack the ducklings just to get the effing hell out of here. And then, last but by no means least, is a carp. Obviously, we've gotta love the fish. Gotta love the carp. Magikarp, carp! Magikarp, carp! Get out of here. No one likes you. Anyways, so, obviously, this is why, I straightforward advise myself, if you're making a YouTube video, please, straightforward, put more than one thing at a time. Because I would actually straightforward advise to you that if you look at one thing and you can just make a video, then you can get really, really popular. Well, that's not the way I would love to do it. I think that's not the way I'm supposed to do it. I think, obviously, that's cheating because you're just making money. You're just making views for the sake of being famous or for the sake of just getting the center of attention of just getting lots and lots of views on YouTube. You know, making videos like this isn't very easy. So far, after enduring a lot of pain, and I'm very much not so surprised, a lot of agony, this is what we're going to conclude here. Anyways, if you really enjoyed in this pretty brief toy review, please give this video a like, subscribe for more flat videos in the future, for more toy reviews and whatnot as always. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.